How good would each Clash Royale card be as our president? My name is Will the Reaper, and that is what I will be determining in today's video. This idea was brought to us by chanting T5Z, so make sure you leave a comment down below in this video so I could give you a shout out and pin your comment. But anyway, let's begin. Rules are very simple. If there's a card, such as Minion Horde or Skeletons, where there's multiple of them, they all share the power and can devise like strategy together. Um, so yeah, so skeletons. So there's three of them. That they would all be able. They would definitely want to benefit our country. Um, I think they would definitely work together. The only problem is that they can't talk. I know some of them can, but most of them can't. So doing like presidential speeches and communicating with everybody would be a bit difficult. Still though, I think they would really do everything in their power to help our country. I mean, again, if none of them could talk, they would have to find ways to communicate effectively. And think about it, like that'd be so inspirational. Like three people that can't talk somehow communicate with us and try their best to lead our country. It would be amazing. Bomber, I don't think Bomber would be really effective. Um, Especially if he brings bombs everywhere with his like speeches and stuff. I don't think he could go to other countries and shake people's hands if he has bombs with them. And if he leaves his bombs behind, I don't know if he'd really be that interested in leading a whole country. I mean, I feel like he'd much rather just stay at home with his bombs. So yeah, goblins. Both goblins and spear goblins are very greedy, right? They're very power hungry. So now that they're the top of the cheese, they're the big cheese or the top of the charts, top of the food chain. There we go. They would definitely use their power to embezzle money. They would definitely cause complete anarchy, and they would just embezzle millions of dollars from companies to, get money. Definitely insider trading. That is definitely something they'd be accused of doing. So yeah, Zap's excuse me. Whoa, Zap's spell would do little to nothing. It can't communicate. It's literally just a glass bottle. Yeah, that's it. I think Knight would be really good. Knight spent his entire life serving the king. He can spend his entire life serving our country, or 4 years, I guess. I think he'd be a very good president. Archers, kind of like the bomber. I don't think they'd really care about leading our country. I think their tactics so would be amazing. Um, I think they'd be very. I think they'd have some very good opinions. They seem to be very smart, but again, I don't think they'd be that interested in serving our country. I'd much rather probably just do archery. Minions, I think minions honestly cause total chaos. I mean, they look like they're beings of pure destruction, and I don't think they could communicate that well. So total chaos. Arrows would do little to nothing. Cannon, Tesla, Mortar would all do little to nothing. They can't communicate. They would just sit there in the White House. They can't sign documents. They can't do anything. Barbarians would be total chaos. I mean, they would. Oh man, they would sign on like giving out free food every single day. I don't know. They'd probably make everybody have swords. Like you're required by the government to wield a sword and learn how to train, and no one would want that. It would be total chaos, especially if there's five of them. Oh man, that'd be horrible. Minion horde. Well, now there's six minions all sharing power. They would definitely devise plans to destroy our country. Tombstone. I mean, the tombstone itself isn't going to do much. It would spawn skeletons, but the actual tombstone would not do anything. Musketeer. I think the Musketeer I'm going to put next to archers. I think she'd be a brilliant president. Like, I genuinely think she would be a brilliant president. I don't know if she'd be that gung-ho on serving our country. But okay, if she was gung-ho on serving our country, assuming she'd want to, she'd make an amazing president. Definitely, without a doubt. Um, yeah, Valkyrie. I don't know. I think Valkyrie kind of just do little to nothing. Again, I think she'd be much more interested in fighting, eating, and training. Um, just like how the archers probably just want to do archery. At least the musketeer, I feel like she would love having a leading role. I think Archers and Valkyrie just like doing their own thing. Um, Hog Rider, Hog Rider, I think would be an amazing president. I don't know if he lives in the wild, right? I don't know if he knows too much about how to lead. You know, I don't know if he knows a lot about politics, but I think he would definitely dedicate himself um to if given the chance for him to lead and be a president, I think he would definitely give himself uh like weeks and weeks of like law. You know, I think he would like read a lot of books and stuff. I think he would definitely try his best. Like the skeletons. Mini Pekka, realistically, he can't talk. All he would just say is pancakes. I don't know how good of a president he'd be. I'm sorry, bro. Fireball, it would cause destruction in the White House, but like, that's it. It's not going to do anything. You know, it's just a fireball. Yes, it would cause destruction for like 2 seconds, but then the next 3 years, 11 months, 29 days, whatever. Just do nothing. Bomb tower, just do little to nothing. The bomber can't speak, and he's not gonna leave that tower. So Goblin Hut, like the tombstone, the hut itself can't actually speak or do anything. The giant, I think the giant's very sweet. He'd be very kind. I think he would definitely tried to lead as best as he could, but realistically, I don't think he's going to be the best president. I don't think he's going to be horrendous and lead the country into like a downward spiral, but I also don't think he's going to be like the best of the best. Yeah. Wizard, again, I think the wizard would just be way too into sorcery, don't want to do anything, but if he genuinely wanted to become a president, I think he would like cast a spell of, I don't know, law, and that way he could pass the bar and know all these politics and stuff like that beautifully. So yeah, I'm gonna say he'd be an amazing president. For a tower, again, it would do little to nothing. Rocket would do little to nothing. Elixir Collector would do little to nothing. Barb Hut would do little to nothing. Mirror. It depends on the card that the mirror reflects, but if it's literally just a mirror and that's it, it's not gonna do anything. Raid spell do little to nothing. Skeleton Army. I think Skeleton Army. I think they would definitely try their best, kind of like the regular skeletons. They'd all share that power, and they would all do their absolute best to devise a plan that would benefit our country. And there's what, like 13 to 15 of them in that army. They would definitely all, work together. I don't think any of them would have a clash of ideals. It'd be beautiful. Goblin Barrel. Just a barrel. It can't do anything. Baby Dragon, it's a baby. I don't know. Kind of like the mini P.E.K.K.A. He kind of just would not know things, which, it's not like the Baby Dragon would purposely want to ruin our country, but, um, again, I don't think it would do an amazing job either. Kind of just sit there. Free spell would do little to nothing, which I think Witch is very smart. And she knows how to raise people from the dead. Maybe she could raise like Abraham Lincoln or George Washington, and then if Washington led our country again, as long as he knows all the technology, he'd be a remarkable president. So in that aspect, actually, I'd count that as if the witch can do necromancy on a past president that successfully would lead our country in this era. I count that. Even still, I think she is very smart and would be an amazing president. Prince, Prince would be amazing. He is the son of royalty, right? He definitely learns from his father how to rule. So as long as he doesn't turn our country into like a monarchy, um, and knows how to like use his power correctly, I think he'd be great. Balloon, little to nothing. Yeah. Again, too obsessed with his bombs, kind of like the bomber. He's not gonna care. Giant skeleton's really not gonna care. He has a giant bomb on his back everywhere. He can't. He's very slow. He's not gonna be able to communicate well at all. He's gonna do little nothing. Lightning's gonna do nothing. Expo's gonna do nothing. P.E.K.K.A.'s gonna be next to Mini P.E.K.K.A. She can't communicate, and she'd be way too obsessed with butterflies. So, maybe if like a country wants to invade us, they'll just send like shoot a few butterflies towards the P.E.K.K.A. and she'll be like this and completely distracted. Golem's not going to do much. He can't communicate that well. Royal Giant would be an amazing president. Um, I mean, he seems very smart, right? All the world leaders would be scared of him because of his massive size. He's experienced in battle because he has that cannon on his shoulder. And again, he's part of royalty, so he sees how the king, rules his castle. So he'd probably know a lot of how to do the same with our country. Three Musketeers. I'd say there's three of them. I'd say three of them would definitely collaborate to try to lead our country to success. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say that unlike the archers, the Three Musketeers would be a bit more interested in leading our country because I feel like they seem more like royalty based. If that makes sense, I could be completely wrong, which I apologize. Dark Prince. I mean, I know royal recruits look up to him. I know he's a nice guy. So in that case, then he would make an amazing president. Um, as long as he doesn't do anything suspicious, I guess. Poison spell, do little to nothing, or just sit there. Princess. Here's the thing: Princess is very young. I don't know if she'd have enough experience, right? But I mean, she is royalty, so she'd probably have to look after, the Archer Queen. See, follow in her mother's footsteps. See how to run a kingdom. How to run a country. But again, she is very young, so I don't know if that would be the best idea. Uh, I I say she's probably, I'm gonna say she's inexperienced enough. Now I'm gonna say she might not be the most effective. She'll probably just do very little. I'd say Ice Wizard. Ice Wizard probably amazing. Again, if he gives himself a spell of law and studies it, he gives himself a book of law literature and he reads all of it and stuff like that. You'd do amazingly. Fire Spirit would do little to nothing. Furnace would do little to nothing. They both can communicate. Guards are just like skeletons, but they serve their lives protecting the king, so they would serve their lives protecting our country. Yeah, Miner. I don't think Miner would really care. I think he would do little to nothing. Sparky can't talk, would do little to nothing. Lava Hound would care enough about her children that I don't think she'd care about serving the country. Ice Spirit, little to nothing. Bowler loves bowling. He wouldn't care that much. Log, little to nothing. Lumberjack is very bad. Lumberjack is a raging alcoholic. That's what our president would be. He would have like the worst opinions ever. Yeah, he'd probably get impeached like immediately. They'd probably be like, "Whoa, he's drinking elixir. Maybe he also does like drugs and stuff like that, And then if you're a drug addict as a president, Snow Golem, I don't. He can't communicate. I don't think he'd be that good. Mega Minion, man, he would definitely cause total destruction. He'd be like, oh my god, he'd cause like World War III. Look at this guy. He's like, he's probably like, I hate the world. I want to watch it burn. Inferno Dragon do little to nothing. Graveyard Spell do little to nothing. Because again, the graveyard itself would not do anything. The skeletons would, but the graveyard itself wouldn't. Elite Barbarians are a bit smarter, right? They have like that royal status, so they were promoted. They probably see a few things. I'm gonna give them a chance and say that they would not completely destroy the country. I think they would definitely try their best to help, but I don't think they'd be anywhere near amazing. Tornado spell can't do much. Clone spell, again, kind of like the mirror, it depends, but if it's the spell itself, it's just not gonna do anything. Electro Wizard, again, book of law literature. If he reads that, gives himself to it, could be amazing. Goblin Gang, Total Chaos. Now there's 6 of them. They would definitely, the embezzlement, the wire fraud, the insider trading would go insane. Dark Goblin, I think he cares. I don't think he cares about being a president. I think he would just want to blow darts all day, little to nothing. Battering Ram, the Ram itself can't do anything, little to nothing. Executioner, I don't know. I think the Executioner, I think it might be good for like wars and stuff. right? If he has to know how to like execute an enemy, or more so like maybe the execution has to interrogate people or something like that, so he knows how to get information from others. So maybe he could like know how to get information from like enemy countries or something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna give him a chance. I'm gonna say I could see him being a very good president. Um, I think I could be wrong. Bats would just do little to nothing. Heal Spirit would do little to nothing. Bandit is a criminal. She would definitely do that. Some of that embezzlement, some of that wire fraud, some of that insider trading. That greedy bandit. Night Witch, similarly to the witch, book of literature, book of law literature. Read that, conjure that up, read it. Amazing president. Skeleton Barrel, little to nothing. Flying Machine, little to nothing. Cannon Cart, little to nothing. Mega Knight, total chaos. Again, he would strike fear in the hearts of all of our enemies, but he would just have some of the worst ideas ever. Like you could just tell, right? Everyone hates him. He's already a huge controversial figure. Realistically, he's not getting anybody's votes. He would never even be a president. But if he was, he would just have like the worst ideas ever. Think about it. I believe he got bullied, right? Enough to the point that he just started making like a death armor, and that's how he handles conflict. So, total chaos. Sappies can't communicate, do little to nothing. Barrel would do the barrel itself would do little to nothing. Hunter, I think would be way too occupied with hunting. He's not gonna care at all. Royal Ghost, I think the Royal Ghost, if it's like a king or something, I think he would definitely be a good president. But actually here's the thing though. He would have to like catch up on all the stuff. You know what I mean? Like I assume the Royal Ghost existed around like the 1800s or something like that. Um, in like Britain or Great Britain or something like that. Um, so he would have to know what like a cell phone is. He'd have to know what COVID is. He'd have to know what like all these things are, all these contingencies. He'd have to know who like Putin is. He'd have to know like, I mean, yeah, it's crazy. He'd have to know what like 9/11 was. He'd have to know what the economy is. He'd have to know which countries are good to negotiate with, who he shouldn't negotiate with. All these things. So yeah, part of Forest Gang, Magic Archer again. Greedy, cause total chaos. Same thing with the Rascals. You guys would just insider trade and be annoying. Snowball do little to nothing. Royal Recruits would definitely 1,000% be amazing presidential candidates. If they're just recruits, they're people, so they could definitely talk. And if there's 7 of them, they definitely all divide their power equally. I think they'd be amazing presidents. Hogs, I mean, they're pigs. They wouldn't do much. I don't think they would want to hurt the country at all. So, yeah. Goblin Giant, realistically, the Goblin Giant himself would not do much. But the 2 goblins on his back would definitely persuade him to embezzle money. So yeah. Total chaos. Not Inferno Dragon. Electro Dragon would do little to nothing. Ram Rider, I don't think she would care that much. Hog Rider, I feel like, because they both ride stuff, right? So, like, Hog Rider loves exploring the wild, same thing with Ram Rider. But I feel like Hog Rider, if you gave him, like, the chance to be president, he'd be like, what? Hog Rider? And then would just start, like, going crazy reading books. So I don't think Ram Rider would really care at all. Like, if you told her, hey, you want to be president, she'd be like, no, not really. Um, so yeah. Wall breakers, do little to nothing. Earthquake spell, do little to nothing. Goblin Cage, again, it is a criminal. I heard that he was wrongfully accused of stealing a hog. So maybe he would be a decent president. But he'd be nowhere near an amazing one. Um, Fisherman would care too much about fishing. Elixir Golem would, I don't even know. You're kind of a menace, bro. I don't know what you would think. I know what takes you would have. Yeah. Battle healer. Well, she's good at healing people, so maybe she'd be good at healing the country. Maybe she would like want to heal the country, so she'd look up like the best ways to stabilize economies and stuff. I could see her being a very, very good president. Firecracker is part of Forest Gang. I actually just found this out today. So again, the insider trading man. Royal Delivery, the box itself would just not sit there, not do anything. Skeleton Dragons can't talk, they would not do anything, nor would they care. Electro Spirit would not care, little to nothing. Electro Giant, he seems very smart, but again, I don't know how good it would be if he just radiates electricity everywhere. Probably little to nothing. Mother Witch should be too old to want to run for president. I think. Again, she could cast a spell of like law literature and know what to do, but I seriously think she's way too old to be a president. Yeah. Goblin Drill, the drill itself wouldn't do anything. Golden Knight, I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know if Golden Knight would. Well, I mean, I know he would try to be the best president, but I feel like he'd be so prideful. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Would I want him to be a president? I feel like he's so like he just gloats all the time. He'd probably like make everybody upset. I don't know. If a knight looks up to him, right? And I think a knight would make an amazing president, then I guess by association the Golden Knight would have to be an amazing president. Archer Queen, probably like the best candidate. I'd want the Archer Queen. Out of all these other cards, I'd want the Archer Queen to run our country. She's royalty. She knows how to do things. She's in the present day, so she would know like what a cell phone is. Amazing president. Skeleton King, on the other hand, has probably been dead for like the past 500 years. You'd have to teach him what a cell phone is. Just probably not good. Mining Miner, again, he would be way too obsessed with mining and want to do anything. Maybe he might lead the country, but I think he would care more about other things. Phoenix is just a bird, would care more about rising from the ashes, I guess. Okay, so Monk's been around for 1,000 years, so he knows probably every single thing that happened with like every empire, every like monarchy, every president, right? Probably has some very good knowledge, but I don't think he'd want to run for president. Not in the slightest. Little Prince, he'd just be complete chaos. He'd definitely nepotism his way into being president, and then like he'd probably have the stupidest laws. He'd probably be like, "Oh yes, on April 23rd, everybody must worship me. We'll call it Little Prince Day." Whatever. I don't know. He'd just be a bozo. Void Spell would do little to nothing. Goblin Demolisher, I mean, he might be like a good war president, but I don't know. I think he cares too much about his firecrackers. He'd probably just explode. Imagine he finally becomes president. He walks up to his speech, and all the firecrackers go off, and he just vanishes immediately. Goblin Curse does little to nothing. Okay, Goblin Machine is very, very smart. Very smart. He would definitely be an amazing tactician. As long as he goes on the path of greatness and not on the path of, the Clash of Clans basic goblin, then, But if he's just a baby goblin and he's very smart, I think he would definitely, immediately like be pass the bar in like 2 days and then know everything about law. Suspicious Bush, the bush itself can't do much. Goblin Stein be way too obsessed with his experiments to want to do anything. Rune Giant's good at boosting and healing others. I don't know if she'd make the best president, though. I'm sorry. I don't know if she could communicate that well either. Berserker would be a horrible president. She'd probably just want to cause chaos to everything. She'd probably be like, "Oh my god, let's go destroy that country. Let's go destroy that country." And they'd be like, "What?" They'd be like, "Bro, you're like 3 years old. Why do you care about destroying everything so much?" Boss Bandit would be like the most controversial person. Oh my god. We're talking about like billions of dollars, of embezzlement and wire fraud and insider trading. She would probably find a way to like permanently destroy the stock market. Like, she'd probably know so much about the stock market. She would invest like all of her fortune from stealing from the kingdom, right? Like maybe like $150 million. Then when she comes to the United States, she puts it all in every stock, watches it rise, and then rug pulls it. It'd be horrible. Worst president ever, Boss Bandit. Spirit Empress. I don't know enough about Spirit Empress. I think since she's an empress, she would make a very good president, though. So for both herself and her riding the dragon, I think the empress would make amazing presidents. Vine spell do little to nothing. Now you have the tower troops, who have definitely seen a lot of what the king does. So I think each one of them would definitely make very good presidents. Um, I think so. I think so. As long as they care about running, which I mean they might, right? Maybe the chef though. I think the chef and cannoneer would honestly just care about doing what they do. But I think Dagger Duchess and the princess especially would definitely care about wanting to lead the country. Um, and so yeah, that's it. I'm excluding Evos and Heroes because they're basically the same thing. But yeah, that is my definitive Clash Royale presidential tier list. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, as it would truly help me out a lot. And my channel is starting to take off, which is very great to see. I love you guys so much for the support. And if you guys agree or disagree with this video, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And as usual, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.